The habit that changed everything. The biggest breakthrough in my life didn't happen in one day. It happened because I refused to quit on the small days. For a long time, I believed success happened all at once. I thought one opportunity could change everything. One viral video, one perfect business idea, one lucky break, one conversation, one moment that would suddenly make all the hard work worthwhile. Like many people, I spent a lot of time waiting for that moment. I believed my future depended on something extraordinary happening. But over the years, something surprising became clear. When I looked back at the moments that truly changed my life, none of them were dramatic. There wasn't one magical breakthrough. There wasn't one lucky day. There wasn't one decision that instantly transformed everything. Instead, every meaningful achievement I can trace back to one simple habit: showing up again and again and again. There were days when I felt inspired and excited to work. Those days were easy, but they weren't the days that shaped my future. The days that mattered most were the quiet ones. The mornings when I wanted to stay in bed. The afternoons when progress felt invisible. The evenings when nobody would have blamed me for taking the day off. Those were the moments that quietly built the person I was becoming. At the time, they didn't feel important. Reading another chapter didn't seem life-changing. Recording another piece of content didn't seem remarkable. Working on one more project didn't feel like a breakthrough. Saving a little money, learning one new skill, making one more phone call. None of those actions looked extraordinary by themselves. But something remarkable happens when ordinary actions are repeated long enough. They begin to compound. Just like tiny drops of water can eventually carve through solid rock, small daily habits slowly reshape your life. Not overnight, not in a week, but day after day, month after month, year after year. I've learned that consistency has a quiet kind of power. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't create instant excitement. It simply asks one question every day: will you show up again? The people we often admire for their success aren't necessarily the most talented. They're usually the ones who kept showing up long after most people stopped. They continued learning when progress was slow. They continued practicing when nobody noticed. They continued believing in their future before they had visible evidence that it was working. That's what consistency does. It builds your future long before your future becomes visible. This audiobook isn't about finding endless motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you'll feel inspired. Other mornings you won't. If your progress depends on how you feel, your results will always be unpredictable. Consistency is different. Consistency teaches you to act whether you feel like it or not. It reminds you that your future isn't built by your best day. It's built by your ordinary ones. Those ordinary days become ordinary weeks. Ordinary weeks become extraordinary years. And extraordinary years become a remarkable life. Before we continue, I'd like you to pause for just a moment. Take out a notebook, a journal, or even the Notes app on your phone. Write down one habit you're willing to repeat every day for the next 30 days. Don't choose something unrealistic. Choose something simple enough that you can honestly commit to it. It might be reading 10 pages, taking a daily walk, writing for 15 minutes, practicing a skill, saving a small amount of money, or simply waking up at the same time each morning. The habit itself isn't the most important part. Your commitment is. Because over the next few chapters, I hope you'll begin seeing consistency differently. Not as something restrictive, but as something freeing. A daily habit removes the pressure of chasing perfection. It replaces uncertainty with progress. It allows ordinary actions to create extraordinary outcomes. Robert Collier captured this idea beautifully when he wrote, "Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out." Those words remind us that success is rarely created in one unforgettable moment. It's built quietly, patiently, faithfully, one small effort at a time. So as this journey begins, don't ask yourself how quickly your life can change. Ask yourself a better question. What small habit am I willing to repeat long enough for it to change my life? Because the habit that changes everything usually looks ordinary at the beginning. Chapter 1. The days nobody applauds matter most. Your life isn't changed by your best day. It's changed by your ordinary ones. When people ask me what changed my life, they usually expect me to point to one defining moment. They expect me to talk about a viral video, a breakthrough opportunity, or one lucky decision that changed everything overnight. The truth is much less dramatic. The biggest breakthroughs in my life didn't happen because of one extraordinary day. They happened because I kept showing up on thousands of ordinary days that no one else ever saw. There were mornings when I woke up excited to work, but there were many more mornings when I didn't. There were days when the numbers looked encouraging, and there were days when it felt like nothing I was doing was making a difference. Still, I showed up. I recorded another video. I read another chapter. I practiced another skill. I worked quietly while the world carried on around me. At the time, none of it felt extraordinary. In fact, most of it felt invisible. No applause. No congratulations. No audience cheering me on. Just another ordinary day doing work that I hoped would matter someday. Looking back, I realized those ordinary days became the foundation of every opportunity that followed. This is something many people misunderstand about success. We celebrate the promotion, but rarely think about the years of preparation that came before it. We admire the successful business, but don't see the countless mornings spent learning, improving, and solving problems before anyone became a customer. We watch someone gain thousands of followers online but overlook the months, or even years, when they posted consistently and almost no one noticed. Visible success is almost always built on invisible effort. That realization changed the way I approached my work. I stopped asking myself whether today would produce immediate results. Instead, I asked a much better question. If I keep doing this every day, where will I be 1 year from now? That question shifted my focus from instant gratification to long-term growth. Some days, recording content felt repetitive. There were moments when I wondered whether anyone was truly paying attention. But every video taught me something. I became more confident speaking. I learned how to communicate ideas more clearly. I discovered what connected with people and what didn't. Even when a video didn't perform well, I wasn't walking away empty-handed. I was becoming better. The same thing happened with reading. There were evenings when I was tired and wanted to skip it. 10 pages didn't seem like much, but 10 pages became another chapter. Another chapter became another book. Over time, those books quietly changed the way I thought about business, discipline, relationships, leadership, and life. No one applauded me for reading. But years later, people noticed the wisdom that reading had helped develop. Practice worked the same way. Whether it was improving a skill, learning new technology, or simply refining the work I was already doing, progress rarely felt dramatic. Growth happened so gradually that I often didn't notice it myself. Until one day, something that once felt difficult suddenly felt natural. That's how consistency works. It doesn't usually announce itself. It compounds quietly beneath the surface. Working quietly may be one of the most underrated habits successful people develop. We live in a world that encourages us to announce every goal before we've done the work. But some of the most meaningful progress happens in silence. It happens early in the morning before anyone else is awake. Late at night after everyone has gone to bed. During lunch breaks. On weekends. In moments when there is no audience to impress and no recognition to receive. Those are the days that shape you. Because discipline isn't tested when everything feels exciting. It's tested when nothing feels exciting at all. Anyone can stay committed when they're seeing immediate results. The real test comes when your efforts appear invisible. Can you continue anyway? Can you trust that today's small effort is building tomorrow's opportunity? I've learned that consistency is an act of faith. It's believing your work matters before the evidence appears. It's understanding that every small action is placing another brick in the foundation of the life you're building. One brick doesn't look impressive. Neither does the second or the third. But after enough days, those bricks become a house. After enough months, they become a business. After enough years, they become a completely different life. Today, I want to challenge you to embrace an ordinary day. Not a perfect day. Not a highly productive day. Just an ordinary one. Show up even if you don't feel particularly inspired. Read a few pages. Practice your craft. Work on your goal for 30 minutes. Record that video. Write that page. Make that phone call. Keep the promise you made to yourself. Don't measure today by applause. Measure it by whether you showed up. Because every ordinary day you honor your commitment is another investment in the extraordinary future you're creating. Tony Robbins once said, "It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives. It's what we do consistently." Those words remind us that success is rarely built during life's biggest moments. It is built during the quiet mornings, the uneventful afternoons, the evenings when no one is watching. Never underestimate the power of an ordinary day. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that the days nobody applauded were the days that changed everything. Chapter 2. Small wins create big confidence. Confidence isn't something I found, it was something I built. For a long time, I believed confident people were simply born that way. I would watch successful entrepreneurs speak with conviction, athletes compete under pressure, and leaders make difficult decisions without hesitation. From the outside, they looked fearless. They seemed certain of themselves, and I assumed confidence was a personality trait that some people naturally possessed while others never would. But over time, I discovered something that completely changed my perspective. Confidence isn't a gift. It's evidence. It's the result of keeping enough promises to yourself that you begin believing your own word. I didn't wake up one morning feeling more confident than the day before. There wasn't one dramatic event that suddenly erased my doubts. Instead, confidence grew quietly through hundreds of small decisions that, by themselves, didn't seem important. I remember a season when I realized I had become very good at making plans and very inconsistent at following through. I'd create a schedule. I'd write goals in a notebook. I'd tell myself that tomorrow would be different. Then tomorrow would arrive, and I'd negotiate with myself. I'll start next week. I'll do it later. I'm just too tired today. The problem wasn't that I lacked ambition. The problem was that every time I failed to follow through, I was teaching myself something. Without realizing it, I was gathering evidence that I couldn't trust my own commitments. One day, I decided to stop focusing on huge goals and start focusing on very small promises. Not because they would immediately change my life, but because I needed to change the relationship I had with myself. The first promise was simple. Every morning, I would make my bed. It took less than 2 minutes. Nobody congratulated me for doing it. Nobody even knew. But something interesting happened. For the first time in a long time, I had started my day by doing exactly what I told myself I would do. The next habit was reading just 10 pages each day. 10 pages didn't sound impressive. It certainly didn't feel like enough to transform my future. But after a week, I had finished several chapters. After a month, I had completed another book. More importantly, I had collected another month of evidence that I could stay consistent. Then came walking every day. Not running marathons. Not spending hours in the gym. Just walking. Some days it was 20 minutes. Some days it was longer. Again, the habit itself wasn't extraordinary. The consistency was. I also made a commitment to finish one meaningful task every day before moving on to something else. There were plenty of distractions competing for my attention. Emails, social media, messages, new ideas. But completing one important task reminded me that progress wasn't measured by how busy I looked. It was measured by whether I finished what mattered. Looking back, none of these habits seemed life-changing on their own. Making the bed, reading 10 pages, taking a walk, finishing one task. They were all small, almost ordinary, but together they began producing something far greater than completed tasks. They produced belief. This is one of the greatest misconceptions about confidence. Many people think confidence comes first. They believe they'll take action after they feel more confident. But confidence usually arrives after the action has already been repeated enough times. Imagine someone learning to play the piano. They don't become confident before practicing. They become confident because they practice. Think about someone learning to speak in public. Their first presentation is probably uncomfortable. Their second may not be much better. But after dozens of presentations, confidence begins replacing uncertainty. Not because fear completely disappeared, but because experience created evidence. The same principle applies to every area of life. You become confident managing money by consistently making wise financial decisions. You become confident in business by solving one problem after another. You become confident in your health by repeatedly honoring commitments to your body. Confidence is earned through repetition. Every promise you keep becomes another reason to believe in yourself. Every completed habit becomes another reminder that you are capable of following through. That's why small wins matter so much. They may not impress other people, but they reshape the way you see yourself. And the way you see yourself influences every decision that follows. Today, I'd like you to make one small promise to yourself. Not a promise you'll keep next week. Not one you'll start someday. One you'll complete before noon tomorrow. Maybe it's making your bed, reading 10 pages, taking a 15-minute walk, drinking enough water, writing one page, organizing your workspace. Choose something simple, then complete it without negotiating with yourself. When you finish, don't immediately move on to the next thing. Pause for a moment. Recognize what just happened. You didn't simply complete a task. You strengthened trust in yourself. Do that often enough, and you'll stop asking where confidence comes from. You'll know. Benjamin Franklin expressed this principle with remarkable simplicity. Well done is better than well said. Your future confidence won't be built by talking about what you're going to do. It will be built by quietly doing it. One small promise, one completed habit, one ordinary day at a time. Because in the end, the strongest confidence isn't found in motivational words. It's built through consistent action that proves to yourself you can be trusted. Chapter 3. The compound effect nobody sees. Most people quit because success is invisible in the beginning. If you've ever worked toward a goal and wondered whether your effort was making any difference at all, you're not alone. I've been there. There were seasons when I questioned whether the small things I was doing every day were worth the time and energy. I wasn't looking for overnight success, but I hoped to see at least some sign that I was moving in the right direction. Instead, many days looked exactly like the day before. I'd wake up, complete my routine, work on my goals, and go to bed feeling as though nothing had changed. At first, that was discouraging. It's easy to stay committed when progress is obvious. It's much harder when your effort appears invisible. I remember producing content during a period when almost no one seemed to notice. I'd spend time planning ideas, recording videos, editing, and publishing them with genuine excitement. Then I'd check the results. A handful of views, very few comments, little engagement. The next day, I did it again. And the day after that. Weeks turned into months. From the outside, it looked like very little was happening. There were moments when it was tempting to ask myself, is any of this actually making a difference? But I kept reminding myself of something important. Every video was teaching me. I was becoming more comfortable on camera. I was learning how to communicate more clearly. I was improving my storytelling. I was understanding what connected with people and what didn't. The audience wasn't growing quickly, but I was. Then, almost without warning, something changed. A video performed better than expected. Then another. People began discovering older content I had created months earlier. Opportunities that didn't exist before suddenly began appearing. To someone watching from the outside, it looked like success had happened overnight. But I knew the truth. It wasn't overnight. It was the result of months of invisible work quietly building beneath the surface. That experience taught me one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned. Consistency compounds quietly. Much like planting a seed, growth begins long before you can see it. When you place a seed into the ground, nothing remarkable appears to happen the next morning. You don't dig it back up every day to check whether it's growing. You water it. You protect it. You trust the process. Beneath the surface, roots are forming. Strength is developing where your eyes cannot yet see it. One day, the first sign of growth finally appears. People admire the tree. Few appreciate the patience required before it became visible. Life often works the same way. Consider YouTube. Many creators upload dozens, or even hundreds, of videos before they build a meaningful audience. Each upload seems insignificant on its own, but every video improves their skills. Every lesson makes the next video better. Every attempt builds experience. Eventually, the compound effect begins working in their favor. The audience sees one successful channel. The creator remembers every quiet upload that came before it. The same principle applies to investing. A single contribution to your savings or investment account may seem too small to matter. One deposit rarely changes your financial future. But repeated month after month, year after year, those small contributions begin growing upon one another. Time becomes an ally. The remarkable results people admire later often began with ordinary decisions made consistently. Fitness follows the same pattern. One workout won't transform your body. One healthy meal won't dramatically improve your health. But consistent choices made over months begin producing noticeable strength, energy, and endurance. The transformation appears gradual because it is. Learning is no different. Reading one chapter doesn't instantly make you wiser. Listening to one podcast won't suddenly change your career. Learning one new skill won't immediately double your income. But knowledge compounds just like money. Every lesson builds upon the previous one. Every book expands your perspective. Every conversation adds another layer of understanding. Eventually, you begin solving problems that once felt impossible. Not because you changed overnight, because your growth quietly accumulated over time. This is why consistency often feels unrewarding in the beginning. The rewards are delayed. Your effort comes first. The visible results come later. Many people stop during this invisible stage, not because they lack ability, but because they mistake a lack of immediate results for a lack of progress. They confuse silence with failure. They believe nothing is happening simply because they cannot yet see it. But progress is often taking place beneath the surface. Every day you choose discipline over convenience, something is changing. Your habits are becoming stronger. Your skills are improving. Your mindset is expanding. Your character is developing. Those changes may not receive applause today, but they are preparing you for opportunities that haven't arrived yet. If you continue long enough, there comes a moment when the invisible becomes visible. People begin noticing your progress. They call you talented. They describe you as successful. Some may even call you lucky. Only you know how many quiet days made that moment possible. Today, I'd like you to begin a simple exercise that demonstrates the power of consistency. Choose one habit you want to strengthen. It might be reading, walking, writing, saving money, practicing a skill, or spending 30 focused minutes on your most important goal. Now commit to tracking that habit every day for the next 30 days. Don't worry about perfection. Your goal isn't to impress anyone. Your goal is to prove to yourself that consistency is becoming part of who you are. At the end of those 30 days, you'll have something far more valuable than a completed checklist. You'll have evidence. Evidence that small actions, repeated faithfully, create meaningful change. Bill Gates once observed, "People overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10. Those words remind us that extraordinary lives are rarely built through dramatic moments. They're built through quiet, consistent effort that compounds over time. So don't judge today's progress by today's results. Judge it by today's commitment. Because the compound effect nobody sees today may become the success everyone notices tomorrow. Chapter 4. Fall in love with the process. The people who succeed don't always love the results first. They learn to love the process. There was a time when I measured every day by one question. Did I get the result I wanted? If a video didn't perform well, I felt discouraged. If my business didn't grow as quickly as I expected, I questioned whether I was moving in the right direction. If I stepped on the scale and didn't see the number I wanted, I felt like my effort had been wasted. My mood rose and fell depending on outcomes I couldn't completely control. Some days I felt successful. Other days I felt like I was falling behind. Looking back, I realized I had unknowingly created a dangerous habit. I had become addicted to results instead of committed to the process. The problem with living that way is that results are often delayed. You can do everything right today and still not see immediate progress. You can plant seeds today without seeing a harvest for months. If your motivation depends entirely on visible results, you'll constantly be tempted to quit just before your efforts begin paying off. That realization changed the way I approached almost everything. Instead of asking, "Did I get the result?" I began asking, "Did I honor the process today?" That single question removed so much unnecessary pressure. It shifted my focus from chasing outcomes to controlling my daily actions. I couldn't control when success would arrive, but I could control whether I showed up. I could control whether I learned something new. I could control whether I improved, even if only by 1%. That mindset changed everything. I began enjoying the work itself. Recording content stopped feeling like a race for views. Instead, it became an opportunity to become a better communicator. Every video was another chance to improve my storytelling, my confidence, and my ability to connect with people. Ironically, the less I obsessed over the numbers, the more consistent I became. And consistency eventually produced the very results I had been chasing. The same thing happened with exercise. In the beginning, every workout was judged by the mirror. If I didn't notice physical changes quickly enough, it was easy to feel discouraged. But lasting fitness isn't built by one great workout. It's built by hundreds of ordinary workouts that quietly strengthen your body over time. When I stopped exercising just to lose weight and started exercising because I valued becoming healthier, something changed. The workout itself became the reward. I wasn't simply training my body. I was strengthening my discipline. Business taught me the same lesson. There were months when growth seemed painfully slow. Projects took longer than expected. Plans had to change. Some ideas failed completely. Earlier in my journey, I would have viewed those moments as proof that I wasn't making progress. Now I see them differently. Every challenge taught me something I couldn't have learned any other way. Every mistake made me more prepared for the next opportunity. Every setback strengthened my ability to solve problems. The business wasn't just producing income. It was producing growth inside of me. Reading became another example of trusting the process. No single chapter ever transformed my life. No single book suddenly made me wiser. But page after page, idea after idea, my thinking began to change. Books introduced me to perspectives I had never considered. They challenged assumptions. They expanded my vision. Looking back, it's difficult to point to one specific page that changed everything. It was the accumulation that mattered. The same principle applies to saving money. Many people become discouraged because the first few deposits seem insignificant. Saving $20 doesn't feel life-changing. Neither does saving $50. But financial freedom isn't created by one large deposit. It's created by repeatedly choosing your future over today's impulse. Small deposits become larger savings. Savings become investments. Investments become opportunities. Once again, the process quietly creates the outcome. This is one of the greatest secrets of consistency. The people who stay committed the longest usually stop chasing immediate results. Instead, they learn to appreciate the daily routine that eventually produces those results. They understand that success isn't hidden in one extraordinary day. It's hidden inside ordinary days repeated faithfully. The process shapes the person. The person creates the outcome, not the other way around. If you fall in love only with results, you'll become discouraged whenever progress slows. But if you fall in love with learning, with improving, with practicing, with showing up, then success becomes much harder to avoid, because you'll continue doing the very things that eventually produce it. Today, I'd like you to try something different. At the end of the day, don't ask yourself, what did I accomplish? Instead ask, did I honor the process? Did you exercise? Did you read? Did you work on your goal? Did you keep your promise to yourself? Celebrate those efforts, not because they produced immediate results, but because they represent the kind of person you're becoming. Results will come when they're ready. Your responsibility is to keep showing up. Lao Tzu wisely wrote, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." Notice that he didn't say the journey begins with reaching the destination. It begins with one step, then another, and another. Every meaningful achievement you've ever admired was built the same way. Not through one remarkable moment, but through someone who learned to love the process long before anyone celebrated the result. Because when you fall in love with becoming better each day, success eventually becomes a natural consequence of who you've become. Chapter 5. Momentum is more powerful than motivation. I stopped waiting to feel motivated, and that's when my life started moving. For years, I believed motivation was the starting point of success. I thought productive people woke up every morning excited to work. I imagined that successful entrepreneurs always felt inspired, disciplined people always felt energized, and high achievers somehow had access to a level of motivation that everyone else lacked. Whenever I didn't feel motivated, I assumed something was wrong. I'd tell myself, I'll start tomorrow. I'll wait until I have more energy. I'll begin when I'm in the right mood. The problem was that tomorrow usually looked a lot like today. The motivation I was waiting for rarely arrived. And even when it did, it never stayed for very long. Eventually, I realized I had been waiting for the wrong thing. The people I admired weren't successful because they always felt motivated. They were successful because they had learned how to move before motivation appeared. That realization changed the way I approached every goal. Instead of waiting to feel like working, I made one simple promise to myself. Just begin. Not for hours. Not until everything was finished. Just begin. One morning, I sat down to work on a project I had been avoiding for days. The task felt overwhelming. The more I thought about it, the bigger it seemed. So instead of telling myself I had to finish the entire project, I made a much smaller commitment. I would work for just 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes. There was something freeing about that decision. 5 minutes didn't feel intimidating. It didn't require extraordinary discipline. It simply required beginning. I started working. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then 20. Before I realized it, I had completed far more than I expected. The difficult part hadn't been the work itself. The difficult part had been getting started. That lesson stayed with me. I began using the same approach in other areas of my life. If I didn't feel like exercising, I told myself to simply put on my shoes and move for 5 minutes. Most of the time, once I started walking, I kept going. If I didn't feel like writing, I committed to one paragraph. One paragraph often became one page. One page sometimes became an entire chapter. If I didn't feel like making an important phone call, I reminded myself that dialing the number took only a few seconds. Once the conversation began, the anxiety that had seemed so overwhelming started disappearing. Again and again, I discovered the same truth. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Not the other way around. Think about pushing a car that has stalled. The hardest part is getting it moving. At first, every push requires effort. The car barely moves. But once it begins rolling, something changes. Momentum starts working with you instead of against you. Life often follows the same pattern. The first step usually feels the hardest. The second step feels a little easier. The third becomes easier still. Soon, what once felt impossible begins feeling natural. Many people underestimate the power of momentum because they focus too much on intensity. They believe success requires dramatic action, a perfect morning routine, an 8-hour work session, a complete life transformation. But momentum isn't built through intensity alone. It's built through movement. Small movement, consistent movement, one action that naturally leads to another. This is why the 5-minute rule is so effective. It removes the pressure of perfection. It replaces overwhelming expectations with manageable action. You're no longer asking yourself to conquer the entire mountain. You're simply asking yourself to take the first step. The same principle applies to making one important phone call you've been postponing. Often, the stress of avoiding the conversation becomes greater than the conversation itself. Once you make the call, you realize it wasn't nearly as difficult as your mind imagined. One completed task creates confidence to begin another. Momentum begins building. Exercise works this way too. Some of the best workouts I've ever had almost didn't happen. Not because I lacked time, because I lacked the desire to start. But once I began moving, my energy changed. My focus improved. My mind became clearer. The hardest part wasn't exercising. It was leaving the couch. Writing has taught me the same lesson. Some days, staring at a blank page feels intimidating. Ideas seem distant. Words refuse to come easily. But I've learned that writing one paragraph is often enough to unlock the next idea. One paragraph becomes another. Before long, the blank page has become a finished chapter. The lesson is always the same. Progress belongs to those willing to begin before they feel ready. Momentum has another remarkable quality. It creates hope. Every completed action reminds you that progress is possible. Every small victory becomes evidence that you're moving forward. The more evidence you collect, the easier it becomes to continue. This is why consistent people often appear highly motivated. What you're actually seeing is momentum. They're not relying on feelings. They're benefiting from habits they've already put into motion. Today, I'd like to challenge you with a simple exercise. Think about one task you've been delaying. Not next week. Not tomorrow. Today. Now set a timer for 5 minutes. Commit to working on that task until the timer ends. Don't worry about finishing. Don't worry about perfection. Your only responsibility is to begin. When the timer goes off, you can stop if you choose. But you may discover what I've experienced countless times. Starting changes everything. Because once momentum begins, continuing becomes much easier than standing still. Mark Twain understood this principle when he wrote, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." Those words contain more wisdom than they first appear to. Getting started isn't simply the beginning of progress. It is the moment when momentum begins working in your favor. Stop waiting for motivation to arrive. Take one small step, then another. Because the life you're trying to build isn't waiting for the perfect feeling. It's waiting for your willingness to begin. And once you do, momentum will carry you farther than motivation ever could. Chapter 6. Patience is a superpower. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they quit too soon. One of the hardest lessons I've ever learned is that success rarely follows the timeline we create in our minds. When we begin something new, We naturally hope to see results quickly. We imagine the business growing within months. We expect our content to attract an audience almost immediately. We assume our investments will multiply faster than they actually do. We believe personal growth should be obvious after only a few weeks of effort. When those expectations aren't met, disappointment quietly begins to replace excitement. I've experienced that feeling more times than I can count. There were seasons when I questioned whether I was moving forward at all. I'd wake up early, complete my routine, work on projects, continue learning, and remain committed to the habits I knew were important. Then I'd look around and wonder, why doesn't it feel like anything is changing? The temptation wasn't to work harder. The temptation was to stop. Because when progress is invisible, quitting often feels reasonable. But every time I came close to giving up, I reminded myself of something simple. Just because I couldn't see growth didn't mean growth wasn't happening. Some of life's most important transformations happen quietly, long before anyone notices them, long before we notice them ourselves. Looking back now, I'm grateful I stayed patient during those seasons, because many of the opportunities I enjoy today were created by work I almost abandoned. There were projects that seemed to go nowhere for months before they suddenly opened unexpected doors. There were skills I practiced for years before they became valuable. There were relationships that developed slowly before becoming life-changing connections. Had I judged my progress too early, I would have walked away from the very things that eventually made the biggest difference. That experience taught me something I'll never forget. Patience protects consistency. Without patience, consistency becomes almost impossible. Because if you expect immediate results, every delay feels like failure. But when you understand that meaningful growth requires time, you're far more willing to keep showing up. Business taught me this lesson repeatedly. Many people imagine successful businesses, begin making significant profits almost immediately. In reality, most spend months, sometimes years, learning, adapting, improving, and building trust before the rewards become visible. Customers don't appear overnight. Reputation isn't built overnight. Systems aren't perfected overnight. Every successful business you admire was once invisible to almost everyone. Its owners simply refused to confuse slow progress with no progress. Content creation reinforced that lesson. There were periods when I consistently created videos, shared ideas, and invested hours into work that received very little attention. It would have been easy to conclude that the effort wasn't worth it. But every piece of content strengthened my ability to communicate. Every recording improved my confidence. Every mistake taught me something that made the next attempt better. Months later, people noticed the results. What they didn't see were all the quiet days that made those results possible. Investing offers another powerful example of patience. The first contribution to an investment account rarely feels exciting. The balance grows slowly, sometimes so slowly that it hardly seems noticeable. Yet those who understand compound growth know something many people overlook. Time is doing work that isn't immediately visible. Every contribution builds upon the previous one. Year after year, what once seemed insignificant begins producing remarkable results. Patience allows compounding to do its work. The same is true for personal growth. No one becomes wiser after reading a single book. Confidence isn't built after one courageous decision. Discipline isn't developed in a single week. Growth happens through repetition. It develops quietly as you continue making choices that align with the person you're becoming. One day, you realize you're responding differently to challenges that once overwhelmed you. You notice you're solving problems more calmly. You're making wiser decisions. You're becoming the person you once hoped to become. Not because of one extraordinary breakthrough, because you remain patient long enough for growth to take place. I've come to believe that patience isn't passive. It's active trust. It's choosing to continue even when visible evidence hasn't arrived yet. It's believing that today's effort still matters, even if today's results seem small. Patience isn't waiting while doing nothing. It's continuing to do the right things while waiting. That distinction changes everything. Patient people don't stop planting seeds because they can't yet see the harvest. They understand that every worthwhile goal has its own season. Today's work becomes tomorrow's opportunity. Today's consistency becomes next year's breakthrough. Today's discipline becomes the foundation future success stands upon. If you rush the process, you'll often abandon the very habits capable of changing your life. If you stay patient, you'll discover that progress has been happening all along. Today, I'd like you to think beyond the next 7 days, beyond the next month, beyond the next quarter. Take out a notebook and write down one meaningful goal that you're willing to pursue for the next 12 months. Not because you expect immediate success, but because the person you're becoming is worth a year of consistent effort. Perhaps it's building a business, improving your health, writing a book, learning a new skill, saving your first investment fund, growing a YouTube channel. Choose one goal, commit to it, then give yourself permission to grow slowly. Because extraordinary results rarely belong to people who move the fastest. They belong to people who refuse to stop. A. Milne captured this truth beautifully when he wrote, "Rivers know this, there is no hurry, we shall get there someday." Think about a river. It doesn't force its way forward. It keeps flowing, day after day, season after season. Over time, it shapes mountains, valleys, and landscapes, not through speed, but through persistence. Your life works the same way. You don't have to rush your future. You don't have to compare your timeline to someone else's. You simply have to keep moving. Because patience isn't slowing your success. Patience is giving consistency enough time to transform your life. Chapter 7. Become the person who never misses twice. Missing one day won't destroy your progress. Missing 2 starts a new habit. For a long time, I believed consistency meant never missing a day. If I skipped a workout, I felt like I had failed. If I missed my morning routine, I convinced myself I'd ruined my momentum. If I didn't read my daily pages or complete everything on my schedule, I became frustrated with myself. What usually happened next was even worse. Instead of getting back on track the following day, I'd tell myself, "I'll start fresh on Monday." Or, "This week is already off track, I'll begin again next month." One missed day quietly became several. Several became weeks. Before long, the habit I had worked so hard to build had disappeared. It wasn't because I lacked discipline. It was because I believed perfection was the goal. Eventually, I realized something that completely changed the way I viewed consistency. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice is the beginning of a new pattern. That small shift in thinking changed everything. I stopped expecting perfection. Instead, I focused on recovery. Whenever I slipped, I made one promise to myself: never miss twice. That simple rule became one of the most powerful habits I've ever developed. There were mornings when I overslept and missed my workout. Instead of feeling guilty for the rest of the week, I made sure I exercised the next day. There were evenings when I was exhausted and didn't read my daily chapter. Rather than convincing myself I had failed, I picked up the book the following evening. There were days when unexpected responsibilities interrupted my carefully planned routine. Life happened. Schedules changed. Things didn't always go according to plan. But I refused to allow one interruption to become a permanent excuse. Over time, I realized that the people who remain consistent aren't the people who never make mistakes. They're the people who recover quickly. This is one of the biggest misconceptions about successful people. We often imagine they possess extraordinary discipline because they never fall behind. The truth is much more encouraging. They miss workouts. They lose motivation. They make poor decisions. They experience setbacks. The difference isn't that they avoid failure. The difference is that they don't stay there. Recovery matters more than perfection. Think about someone learning to ride a bicycle. Falling isn't evidence that they should quit. It's part of learning. Each time they climb back on the bicycle, they become a little more balanced, a little more confident, and a little more capable. Eventually, riding becomes natural. Not because they never fell, because they refuse to let falling become permanent. Life follows the same pattern. Consider your workouts. One missed session won't erase months of effort. Your body doesn't suddenly lose its strength because you rested for a day. The real danger appears when one missed workout becomes 2, then 3, then an entirely different lifestyle. The same applies to reading. Missing one day won't erase the knowledge you've already gained. But allowing that missed day to convince you that you failed often leads to weeks without opening another book. The problem was never the missed day. The problem was believing one mistake meant starting over. Daily routines work the same way. Every consistent person experiences interruptions. Travel, family responsibilities, unexpected challenges, illness, busy seasons. These things happen to everyone. Consistency isn't about avoiding interruptions. It's about refusing to let interruptions become permanent habits. I've learned that self-compassion is an important part of discipline. Not the kind of compassion that encourages excuses. The kind that allows you to acknowledge a mistake without allowing it to define you. One imperfect day doesn't erase months of faithful effort. One setback doesn't cancel your progress. One difficult week doesn't change who you're becoming. The real question isn't, did I fall? The real question is, how quickly am I willing to stand back up? That question has helped me through countless seasons when progress felt difficult. It reminded me that consistency isn't fragile. It's resilient. It bends. It adjusts. But it continues moving forward. There's another reason this mindset matters. Every time you recover quickly, you strengthen your identity. You begin seeing yourself as someone who doesn't quit because of temporary setbacks. Instead of thinking, I'm terrible at staying consistent, you begin saying, I'm someone who always comes back. That identity is incredibly powerful because life will always present obstacles. There will always be days when your schedule changes, when your energy feels low, when circumstances interrupt your plans. You cannot control every challenge, but you can control your response. And over time, your response becomes your reputation. Not only with other people, with yourself. Today, I'd like you to do something simple. Think about one habit you've allowed to drift away. Perhaps you stopped exercising, stopped reading, stopped saving money, stopped working on your business, stopped writing, stopped practicing a skill that once mattered to you. Don't spend another week feeling guilty about it. Don't wait until next Monday. Don't wait until next month. Restart today. Not perfectly, simply intentionally. Take one small step before this day ends. Read one page. Take one walk. Write one paragraph. Save $1. Do something that reminds you your story is still being written. Because consistency isn't measured by how rarely you fall. It's measured by how faithfully you return. Confucius expressed this beautifully when he said, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." Those words remind us that resilience is far more valuable than perfection. The strongest people aren't the ones who avoid setbacks. They're the ones who refuse to let setbacks become their identity. So if you've fallen behind, stand back up. If you've missed a day, begin again. If you've lost momentum, create a little today. Because your future won't be determined by the days you stumbled. It will be shaped by the days you chose to come back. Chapter 8. Your future is built one day at a time. 5 years from now, your life will be shaped by what you repeatedly do today. Every now and then, I like to imagine a conversation with my future self. Not because I believe I can predict exactly what life will look like, but because it reminds me that every decision I make today is quietly shaping the person I'll become tomorrow. Picture this with me. It's 5 years from now. You wake up in a life that once felt like a distant dream. The goals you've been working toward have become part of your everyday reality. You've built something meaningful. Your confidence feels natural instead of forced. Your routines no longer require constant motivation because they've become part of who you are. As you look around, you begin reflecting on how you arrived there. Surprisingly, your mind doesn't immediately go to the biggest moments. It doesn't focus on the promotion, the successful business, the financial breakthrough, the achievement everyone celebrated. Instead, it keeps returning to ordinary days. The mornings you almost stayed in bed, but chose to get up anyway. The evenings you almost skipped reading, but opened the book anyway. The workout you almost missed. The video you almost didn't record. The investment you almost didn't make. The difficult conversation you almost avoided. Those moments didn't seem extraordinary while they were happening. In fact, many of them felt insignificant. But looking back, you realize something remarkable. Your greatest achievements were built on ordinary days you almost skipped. That realization has stayed with me for a long time. It's one of the reasons I've stopped underestimating today's small decisions. Because today's habits eventually become tomorrow's story. This is one of the greatest truths I've discovered about consistency. Consistency creates legacy. When people hear the word legacy, they often think about something reserved for famous leaders, wealthy entrepreneurs, or historical figures. But legacy isn't built only through extraordinary accomplishments. Legacy is built through repeated actions. The way you live each day eventually becomes the story your life tells. Think about your health. No one becomes healthy because of one perfect meal. No one builds strength from one workout. Health is shaped by the ordinary decisions repeated over months and years. Choosing to move your body. Choosing to rest when necessary. Choosing habits that strengthen rather than weaken you. Your future health is quietly being built today. Now think about wealth. Most financially secure people didn't wake up wealthy overnight. They developed habits. They learned to spend intentionally, to save consistently, to invest patiently, to keep learning. The amount may have started small. The consistency made it meaningful. Family follows the same principle. Strong relationships are rarely created through one unforgettable moment. They're built through thousands of ordinary ones. Being present, listening carefully, keeping your word, Making time, offering encouragement, showing kindness on ordinary Tuesdays, not only during special occasions. Those quiet moments become memories that last a lifetime. Business works no differently. People often notice successful companies after they've grown. Few notice the early mornings, the late nights, the repeated improvements, the countless problems solved behind the scenes. Every successful business is built one ordinary day at a time. Character develops the same way. Integrity isn't created during life's biggest tests. It's developed during everyday choices. Choosing honesty when dishonesty would be easier. Doing quality work when no one is watching. Keeping promises that only you know you made. Every small decision strengthens the person you are becoming. Leadership also grows quietly. Many people believe leadership begins when someone receives a title. In reality, leadership begins long before recognition arrives. It begins when you consistently choose responsibility over excuses, service over selfishness, growth over comfort. People naturally trust those whose actions consistently match their words. Looking across these different areas of life, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Health, wealth, family, business, character, leadership. Every one of them is shaped by consistency. Not occasionally, daily. That's why I've learned to respect ordinary days. Ordinary days become extraordinary years. Extraordinary years become meaningful lives. The future isn't created all at once. It's built quietly through repeated choices that often feel too small to matter. One decision, then another, then another. Eventually, those decisions become your identity. Your identity becomes your habits. Your habits become your future. Today, I'd like you to complete one final exercise before this audiobook comes to an end. Take out a notebook. Imagine you've traveled 5 years into the future. Your future self sits down to write you a letter. What would they thank you for? Would they thank you for refusing to quit when progress was slow? For choosing consistency instead of comfort? For continuing to learn when no one was asking you to? For staying patient when results took longer than expected? Write that letter as though your future has already happened. Be specific. Describe the life you've built. Describe the habits that made it possible. Describe the person you've become. Then keep that letter somewhere you'll see it often. Read it on the days when consistency feels difficult. Read it when motivation fades. Read it when you're tempted to believe today's effort doesn't matter. Because your future self understands something your present self sometimes forgets. Every small decision counts. Every ordinary day matters. Every consistent action is building a life you'll one day be grateful for. Mahatma Gandhi expressed this truth in a single sentence. The future depends on what you do today. Those words remind us that tomorrow isn't created by wishing. It isn't created by waiting. It isn't created by hoping things will somehow improve on their own. Tomorrow is created by today's choices. So don't underestimate the value of an ordinary day. Don't overlook the power of one more page, one more workout, one more wise decision, one more promise kept. Because years from now, when you look back at the life you've built, you may discover that your greatest success didn't begin with one extraordinary moment. It began with one ordinary day that you simply refused to waste. Keep showing up. As we come to the end of this audiobook, I want to leave you with one final thought. Extraordinary lives are not built by extraordinary people. They're built by ordinary people who make one extraordinary decision. The decision to keep showing up. When you look at someone who has built a meaningful life, it's easy to focus on where they are today. You see the business, the confidence, the healthy lifestyle, the financial freedom, the influence, the peace. What you don't see are the thousands of ordinary days that came before those results. The mornings they showed up when they didn't feel like it. The evenings they kept learning while others were distracted. The quiet moments when no one was watching. Those are the moments that shape their future. And the same opportunity exists for you. You don't have to change your entire life today. You don't have to accomplish everything this week. You don't have to become a completely different person overnight. You simply have to become a little more consistent than you were yesterday. Because one habit can change a life. One decision to wake up a little earlier. One chapter read before bed. One walk instead of sitting still. $1 saved. One promise kept. One act of discipline repeated often enough can quietly transform your future. Never underestimate the power of small beginnings. One day becomes 1 week. 1 week becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year. And 1 year of consistent effort can completely change the direction of your life. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Days when you question whether your effort matters. Days when the results seem slower than you expected. When those days come, remember this. The seed doesn't stop growing simply because you can't see it. Growth is often happening beneath the surface. Every page you read is shaping your thinking. Every workout is strengthening your body. Every skill you practice is increasing your value. Every disciplined choice is becoming part of your identity. Even when no one notices, you are becoming someone different. And one day, the results that seem impossible today will simply become the natural outcome of who you've become. So don't measure your life by occasional moments of motivation. Measure it by your willingness to keep showing up. Show up when you're excited. Show up when you're tired. Show up after success. Show up after disappointment. Show up after setbacks. Because consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to give up on the person you're becoming. You don't need to be the most talented person in the room. You don't need perfect timing, unlimited resources, or endless motivation. You only need the courage to keep showing up. Because success isn't reserved for the lucky, it's earned by the consistent. Keep showing up. Keep growing. Keep becoming. Your extraordinary life is being built today, one small habit at a time. If this audiobook encouraged you, I hope you'll subscribe to Mindset Catalyst for more original audiobooks designed to help you grow one step at a time. If you know someone who's struggling to stay consistent, consider sharing this audiobook with them. Sometimes one idea, heard at the right moment, can change the direction of someone's life. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What daily action are you committed to staying consistent with? Or, what's one habit you've been struggling to stick with? I genuinely enjoy reading your thoughts, and your story might encourage someone else who's on this journey too. Until next time, keep showing up. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today.